folks. I'm Craig Lipinski.
I'm Seth Castellum.
And I'm Megan Lipinski.
And you're listening to episode 30 of Ludowave Radio, the smooth sounds of video game talk. And Megan and I looked at a house.
I look at houses every day. It's kind of hard to not.
With your eyeballs.
We went into a house. We entered this house. Mm-hmm. And it was one that we could have potentially bought. We didn't buy it. No. Which is a shame because I liked it. It needed a lot of work. But I think
the bones were good.
Good bones.
Good bones.
It had a bar. It had a full bar downstairs.
Obviously not stocked, but it was cool as hell.
It was one of those ones where you have to lift up the counter to get into it, and it had a sink behind it and little hangy things for your glass. It was a full bar.
That's cool. Good shout out to alcoholics.
Right. Megan, how many ounces is that beer, or is it measured in milliliters because it's fancy?
This is a 1 pint 6 fluid ounce bottle.
This is Macedonian bottle she's drinking over here. Yeah, that bar would have been for you.
It would have been.
It would have been. You would have gone. You would have opened up the counter, gone behind, fixed yourself a drink, and then come back around, and then drink your drink.
That's too much work.
At the stool, yeah.
It's classy at that point. Though.
It is.
You got to work for it. You got to work for your drink. But yeah, I like that house.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think some olds lived there previously.
Yes, for sure.
They put some weird fluorescent light bars above each bedroom doorway. Mm-hmm. So that that shit had to go. But
it made me think of maybe what a prison cell looks like, or I don't know. It reminded me of hospitals kind of, because they were just exposed fluorescent light tubes. So it was very bright and also strange for a bedroom.
Yeah, that
area.
Sounds not cool.
There's a few other things. It had a solarium, which was kind of neat. Yeah. I was really into that. That needed a new floor. Some work on some of the stairs and some paint.
There were no appliances.
So, but overall, that's stuff that we could handle. And then after we looked at it, we thought, yeah, let's pursue this. And so I emailed the listing agent some questions. One of them being, when was the last time the septic was pumped? Because it's septic, not sewer. And he's like, oh, I don't know, but it needs to be replaced. Here's an estimate. It was $7,500, and we noped that out of that. That on top of all the other work that had to be done. I'm not paying $7,500 so I can poop. I don't. I want to poop. I want to move in poop friendly home. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
Move in without it being replaced. I don't think.
No, so. I don't know.
You would have, but it would have cost us another $7,500. So
yeah. Any home we buy, honey, has to be poop ready.
Don't I know it?
You guys know buckets exist, right? Any home's poop ready as long as you have a bucket.
As long as you're brave about it.
Oh man, we're not going that rustic, my dude.
Well, all right. I hate septic. Well, my girlfriend's parents, when we go to their house, they're on a septic system, and mom's always like, "Don't you flush toilet paper unless you have to." I'm like,
what?
Well, yeah.
Well, I got news. Do you have a bidet? Otherwise, I'm flushing the toilet paper.
Yeah. If it's butthole stuff, there's toilet paper, dude. So I'm sorry.
When Craig and I started dating,
God, where is this going to go?
I thought that we were going to live in a tiny home, and that our tiny home was going to have a composting toilet, Seth. That's nice. What I thought we were going to end up having as adults when we grew up together.
And I wasn't opposed to a tiny home. I think eventually I got you on the idea of a small home.
Slightly more space.
But I was 100% against this horrific toilet that she proposed. That was not much more than a box with a hole for your butt. That's basically what she was proposing.
Yeah.
Pass. Hard pass.
What channel? There's a channel that doesn't exist anymore, but it was out for, it was
G4.
Planet Green Planet, something like that. Anyway.
Oh, I know. It's G4.
No, it's not G4, but I've watched a lot of tiny home buildings on this channel. Ed Begley Jr. had a show on the channel because he's all Earth friendly dude. Anyway, I saw a lot of composting toilets on this channel.
I wasn't the only one.
It sounds like G4 to me.
Oh my God,
Olivia
Greg.
Munn talking about her fucking composting toilet. Who else?
Olivia
was on
Munn's.
that?
We were just watching Ocean's 8,
8.
and Olivia Munn had like a 2-second cameo in that movie.
She's like, I loved her on Attack of the Show, and I'm not big on her like in any movie or show I've seen her in.
I think that's because I think I like Olivia Munn as like a person, or what I know of her as a person. Of course, I'm not like super into her as like an actress, and I think that's maybe what it is.
Am I the only one that had like her and Kevin Pereira shipped in my head?
I don't know who these people are except for Olivia Munn. So,
well, there's only 2 of them, honey. So,
well, I don't know who that is.
It was her co-host on Attack of the Show.
I will have to research.
I didn't really have any thoughts on that.
All right. I'm
Anyway,
I'm the only one fake shipping these characters that are real people.
That's
whatever.
Fine. This is your version of fan fiction. That's fine.
Yes.
So the news is we didn't buy a house. We did not.
Cool.
Yeah, it was exciting. I mean, well, the other problem is that our lease is pretty ironclad. Our lease is pretty. It used to be living here in this apartment complex has been a bit like, turning up the heat on the water on the frog, and he just doesn't know he's being boiled. And that's kind of where we're at. They just added so many fees and I don't know, new restrictions or whatever, just over time, to the point where like it's really bad. I mean, the fees and everything are really, but the rent's really high. When it like pets, for instance, it used to be like this flat fee. You could have up to 2 pets, cat or dog, 40 pounds each. Good luck finding a 40-pound cat. That would be, I mean, basically it's just a mountain lion at that point. You probably just get a puma. It's fine. You have 2 pets, and it was $250 like flat fee. And that wasn't like a deposit or anything. The animal fucked up the apartment. You still had to pay for it. So it was free $250 for the apartment complex. Now I think it's $450.
I don't know. I don't read the lease.
Well, that might be one of our problems.
I read it recently.
Me included. It's $450 flat fee and also $25 a month.
Oh.
Yeah, we're paying a monthly fee. That's relatively new.
Huh.
So I did read the lease. They don't break down the lease. Like, all these fees are scattered throughout this lease, which is massive.
Like 12 pages of tiny, like, size 8.
It's more than 12 pages.
Several more than 12 pages.
It's very big. It's 20 some odd pages, yeah. And
front and back.
And there's no like breakdown. There's no like
itemized.
Yeah, there's no itemized, no like invoice. Here's what you owe us. You got to track that shit down and add it all up. But anyway, it used to be that you could buy yourself out of your lease. It was like some percentage calculated on how many months you had left. Yeah, they don't do that anymore. It's if you leave, you still got to pay all the rent.
If you die, your family's responsible for paying your rent.
Yes.
Fuck that.
It's really
and it
bad.
literally says you can't die to escape your lease. Like, I laughed. I was like, that can't be right.
And
what are they going to do?
They'll legally pursue your next of kin. Apparently,
Yep.
That's insanity.
And then you think like, okay, well, you can go month to month, right? It's $500 extra a month to go month. It's like, yeah, that's an option, but
for not us,
right? I don't know who could have, because like our rent is like it's over $1,300.
Yeah, you're just adding another $500 to that. Fuck that. You can live somewhere way nicer.
Right.
So we got to find some place closer to when our lease is up so we can actually, like, hopefully time things right. Or we're responsible for finding someone who will take over our lease.
But I'm not going to wish this bullshit on someone else.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. That is some, I don't know, monkey's paw ass shit. Like, I'm not doing that. You know what it is? That's that movie. What was it called? It Follows or something like that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're fucking someone else to give them this garbage ghost apartment. Yeah.
Yep. It's a nice, it's okay. It's a nice.
No, the apartment's nice. It has a pool. It's a good location. The apartment manager's great. The maintenance staff is great. It's the capitalist overlords that are bullshit.
Yes, and it's also high price. That
I don't know how all these like rental places are just going to keep jacking up prices, because then you just start hitting like mortgage payment prices, and people are going to, like, you are just like,
Well,
might as well start
Seth.
looking at fucking net houses.
Right, that's true. Well, they lock you. That's the thing. Like, that's where that being slowly boiled comes in. We're like, okay, yeah, we're ready to look for a house, but now we're trapped here. And so then you end up just going, well, I mean, what do? Do you go month to month? Do you renew? Like, do you move your shit into a storage place and stay with some relatives for a while? Like, you know, it really presents some really shitty challenges.
and where we're located has a high concentration of military folks.
Yeah.
And we also have EB, one of the EB locations here, so they're constantly bringing folks in.
Nobody knows what that is.
Yeah,
EB
right.
is electric. Sorry, General Electric.
It's
General.
It's General
Dynamics.
which has a site called Electric Boat, which builds the Navy submarines, because this is a Navy town. We have one of the major Navy bases here, and they also build the submarines here.
Oh yeah, I found out where my mom grew up.
Really?
Oh, where?
South Windsor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we know where that is. That's not around here, but that's still pretty cool.
Yay,
Yeah.
Connecticut.
Yeah, I asked her, and I was like, what? And then I forgot to tell. I found out like 2 months ago, like right after we talked about it.
But you remembered it now, and that's what counts.
Yeah, because she was talking about like how one of her relatives used to work down at a Navy base or something.
Yeah, so that's
Groton.
that's where we
Groton.
live.
Yeah,
Yep.
in
That's,
Groton.
That's
yeah, it's funny. We're like the second smallest state. Like South Windsor, that's not around here. It's like
But she still came. Well,
It's like-
I work on the other side of the state. I drive to the other side of the state every day for work, so it's not that big.
it's not
How
really
long's
the other
that
side.
commute?
It's pretty far. Well, it's an hour, but
But the other side of the state
I'm
is
not in like
2
the tippy.
hours.
I'm not in like the tippy tip
Okay.
near New York. I consider it the other side. It's like in the rectangle, and then you got the nubbin on the bottom there.
You're not in the bottom. That's like that's like Fairfield.
Right, I'm not in the nubbin.
Right.
I'm on the edge of the square. Geography's hard, okay?
All right.
I got it. There's the nub. There's the
Yeah.
square. And there's the nub on the square.
Yep. hmm
So getting out of here is going to be a challenge, and I'm not looking forward to that. So we kind of put that on hold. We were like really excited, but we,
It's
put
too soon.
It's too soon. But I mean, it's good that we're getting the ball rolling now.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, we're just sort of casually planning our trip to Tokyo. We're going in April. I'll be excited.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I want to go.
You want to come with? Well, it's our honeymoon. Do you want to come with us?
I don't want to third wheel your honeymoon.
Well, no,
But-
see, we'll just like meet up for dinner occasionally, and you'll just have to like find other things to do.
I mean, it's going to be really hard.
But I need somebody to go to Tokyo Disney with me, so
I wanted to do the Universal Studios over there so I could do Nintendo Land.
pardon me, that's a thing?
Not yet.
Not yet. It opens next year.
We'll go one day.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to go to Tokyo next year because it's too much Olympic shit.
No, I know. But
Yeah,
the year after.
it's fucking opens the same year as the Olympics. So 2021.
Yeah.
Year of Nintendo Land.
About it lines up. We go
Yeah, we
every
could
couple
plan.
of years. Yeah.
So long, I mean, depending on what this mortgage situation ends up looking like.
It's probably going to be cheaper than our rent.
Possibly.
It's all like the taxes and home upkeep though.
Well, you can run that stuff through like a calculator, and like even
Right.
then, I mean, that's we might pay a little bit more than our. I mean, like I said, our rent is $1,300. It's like $1,307 a month,
Yeah.
and we don't even have one of the. We have premium parking too, so if you want to pay for that, we don't even have the special.
We
parking.
just hoof it from the pleb spots.
from the bottom of the hill. We bought a wagon for our groceries so we can haul our groceries up like fucking Little House on the fucking prairie.
Oh,
It's a
that's
great
cute.
wagon.
It's a good wagon.
It collapses. It's great.
Yeah, I was about to say, is it one of those like canvas collapsible ones?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
that's exactly
Yeah,
what it is.
those are awesome. I like them.
I feel like I kind of feel like a dunce like pulling it up that hill, but I mean, you know what? It saves my back, so that's good. But it was
And
like
all of our
$70. It was like
joints.
a $70 wagon to like haul up groceries because they're charging $40 for the good spots now.
Yeah. That's fine.
Is that like a month? Is it $40?
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck that, man.
Yes.
They have signs on them called Park Star. I had a Domino's guy ask me, he's like, "What do you have to do to become a Park Star around here?" I'm like,
Give them $40 more a month.
yeah, no, that was crazy because we have like loading zones in front of. There's 2 buildings here, and there's like loading zones in front of the buildings. And one day they just put posts in the middle of those loading zones, so you couldn't park in them anymore. So no parking. And there were some people that abused the loading zones for like parking.
Yeah.
But most people did not. But the following week, that's when they introduced the paid parking. So I think that was all part of like their scheme. Like, you can't use a loading zone, but if you want a good spot, you can pay for it.
For an extra $480 a year, you can park closer to the building's entrance.
No thanks.
So that's basically like our living situation and what's going on, right?
Yeah.
Seth, how are you?
I'm sleepy, man.
Yeah, me too.
I saw movies this past weekend.
Oh yeah, what'd you see?
I saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
And how was that?
It was so good. It was like blew my expectations away. I heard like people were liking it, was getting good reviews and stuff, but it was really good. It was funny, and it had a good story, and it was easy to follow despite it being about like multiple spider people from multiple universes all coming together. And it was good. It was super good. It was well acted and everything. I
have to say, so like I'm not doubting your sincerity that you liked it. I mean, I've heard it from a million people, so I imagine that it is good. But when you haven't seen the movie and you just look at it and you go, "Oh, okay, it's a fucking Spider-Man cartoon," and you hear it's like amazing. Before you've seen it, it makes you wonder, like, what the fuck can this movie possibly do?
That's okay. That's where I was. I was literally not expecting to be like blown away by it. Which blown away might be a little strong, but it blew past any expectations I had of what it could do. Just what it did really well. It was just super well told, and it was so funny. It was so funny.
And I always get skeptical too. And I'm not doubting you specifically, but it's like when people I mean the animated movies that are popular these days, like Pixar and like Disney stuff, and they're like, it's so good. Man, I can't take every single Pixar movie is the fucking same. I can't fucking stand Pixar anymore, and I'm just tired of their. I'm on to you, Pixar. I know you're bullshit, and I'm tired of it. And we got like Toy Story 4 coming out. Everyone's like jazzed about Toy Story 4. Fuck these toys. Fuck these. Just bring them to a Goodwill. It's fucking over.
No, but then there's another story about where they go and then how they reunite.
Yeah, they're going to fall between the shelves at the Goodwill.
They were given to a little girl at the end of the last movie. Andy got rid of his toys because he's a big adult person who's in college now or something. And
that child is going to throw them in the trash so she can play Fortnite on her mom's cell phone. That's what's going to happen.
That's Toy Story 5.
No, okay, they're leading up to that.
And then Woody ends
Toy
up
Story
being
5,
like something you can buy or whatever.
Toy Story 5 is just going to be Ninja live streaming Fortnite for just 2.5 hours.
Great.
Oh,
presented by Pixar.
Anyways, it's nothing like a Pixar movie. I'm with you on the whole Disney Pixar thing. I prefer the Disney 3D movies over Pixar, but even those are hit and miss. But no, it's nothing like a Pixar or Disney movie or anything. Like that.
But you understand where I'm coming from. We're like,
oh yeah,
I believe it's good, but I'm just like, what can this movie possibly do? That he's gonna swing around, he's gonna web someone up.
No,
right? I imagine that stuff happens.
It's because it follows not Peter Parker but Miles Morales, and he's young and he's like weird stuff starts happening. It's all presented very funny, and funny stuff happens, and then some sad stuff happens, but. It's mostly funny and it's stylish and it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool movie.
Maybe we can watch it on the airplane.
It would be a great airplane movie.
If they have
no doubt.
Yeah.
If they have it.
They have it, sure.
A lot of times they got the new releases on there. Mm-hmm. And then I also saw Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Is that like in theaters or is that like...
Oh no, that's in theaters. It's
is
like
it,
limited.
Is it really?
It's like limited engagement.
Well, let me tell you another thing about Groton, Connecticut, Seth.
Yes.
Which one is Broly?
He was a character in one of the older like Dragon Ball Z movies, but
Okay.
he was not canon. Like all the old Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z movies were either like retellings of stuff that happened in the cartoon / manga, or just weird side stories, but none of them were like canon to the actual TV series.
Okay.
So even though Broly was a character who existed a long time ago, he was never canonical to the Dragon Ball animated universe, I guess. But with this movie, oh boy, I guess they decided that they wanted him canon, so they stuck it in like right where Dragon Ball Super ends on its last season, and then they just put a whole story arc in there. But I did not want to see this movie. I like Dragon Ball, but I like it in like 24-minute segments because there's not a lot going on. You know, I don't know if I could do like close to 2 hours of Dragon Ball because it's just. I had hopes for this movie almost. It was almost like they seemed like they're going to go on an adventure instead of just fighting. But as soon as like the adventure started, then like Broly shows up and then
Fighting?
Goku's there, and then they just start fucking fighting for like 30 minutes
That
straight.
sounds painful.
Yeah, there's like some cool animation things in there and some like dumb bits and whatever. It was a Dragon Ball. If people are into Dragon Ball, they know there's a lot of scream. I swear to God, these actors were paid like 40 minutes of their acting was just screaming "Ah!" and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it was one of my nephews who's 16 and he lives out in the middle of fucking nowhere. He really wanted to see it. So after Spider-Man, I was like, all right, fuck you. You live nowhere. You'll never see this movie and you really want to see it. So I paid for him to see that.
It's very nice.
That
yeah.
was very nice of you.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Not overly. I didn't.
Were you not picking up on?
Well, I don't know. You could be like, there's all kinds of stuff that sucked about this, but I still liked it.
No,
That's like half of what I do.
I didn't hate it, but I would not say enjoy. I very much could have done without it.
Okay.
Megan and I watched an anime and I liked it.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you watch?
We watched Yuri on Ice.
That's ice skating, right?
Yeah.
It was ice skating and it was super gay and I really liked
It
it.
was precious.
Nice. I heard a cat.
Yeah, it's Aki. He
he's-
has a lot of thoughts right now
He's
about
been so
Yuri on
obnoxious
Ice.
lately.
Is it a movie or a series?
It's a series.
It's like a 12 episode series, so it's it's like self-contained. So
They're going to release a movie next year.
are they?
Yes. This
I
year?
s-
No.
I
It is
started
2019
watch-
now.
Soon.
Okay.
I started watching High Score Girl on Netflix, which is an anime. And it's about like it's a like a little asshole kid who's I think in like 6th grade or something, and he spends all his time after school in arcades. It takes place in the early 90s, like 92, 93, I think. All the arcades are like accurate arcade games from the time, all with like the accurate graphics and sound and everything. So that's really cool. There's like Street Fighter and SNK games and like older stuff, Ghosts and Goblins, all sorts of different arcades. And then he like meets some super rich girl who is there. She starts like he's a Guile player, and she's Zangief, and she just starts whooping his ass like round after round. And then they meet, and then he's kind of nicer, but she's weird. And then they sort of like get a crush on each other and stuff. And it's cute. It's a really cute show. And then there's a bunch of video game stuff, a bunch of TurboGrafx 16 too. The kid has a PC engine, but TurboGrafx 16 they translate it anyway.
So who? Oh, it's TurboGrafx 16. Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I heard what you said, but my brain heard Neo Geo.
No.
And I'm like, wait, so which one is the rich one?
Yeah, no. When he's at home, he has his TurboGrafx 16, and he's like talking up hue cards and stuff. It's like it's cute and it's accurate video game stuff, and I like it a lot. I watched half the series. It's 12 episodes.
And what's it called again?
High Score Girl.
High Score Girl. I'm going to add a note so we check it out.
But this one's not gay.
No, it's very cute.
Everyone's gay forever.
It's not ice skating, so.
No, I'm being very literal when I say that, by the way. I'm not.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm assuming.
Well, is there anything else, or should we talk about some video games?
Let's do video games, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been playing Overwatch and Dragalia Lost, of course. Overwatch is doing a Year of the Pig event right now.
Boar?
Well, they call it the pig, but yeah, I think it's boar. But what was the year of the swine?
Oh, okay.
There's a big old billboard for one of the casinos right down the street from my house, and they have pig on there as well.
Oh, okay. So maybe there's a boar and a pig.
I think it's one and the same.
Line.
I think it's maybe it's a translation thing. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, all the skins are kind of they're all just a bunch of like old Chinese beardos. I don't.
I haven't looked at.
I think
any of them.
I think it's all like what is Dynasty Warriors based off of? Is that Romance of the Three Kingdoms or whatever?
Maybe. I've never played any of the Dynasty Warrior games, but
it has Dynasty Warriors. It has like Lu Bu and shit. So,
Okay.
But they all look the same to me. It's just like just bearded dudes. They all look the same.
Even the women got just beard.
Oh my God, I
old
wish.
Chinese beards.
Yeah, that would be no. Actually, Orissa's skin is pretty good,
Is
and it's
it?
not even legendary. Yeah, no, it's like a robot dragony kind of thing. Tracers is boring. I mean, this is kind of boring, but Dragalia Lost. I'm hitting a point where like my teams, which are built out based on the elements, are I can pretty much do any quest that's put in front of me for like any like event or even just like the daily quests. I'm just cruising through pretty much everything. Which means that there's not a lot of incentive, I guess, anymore. Because anytime, I mean, you do quests and you earn enough resources to do a summon to possibly get a new character to level them up. Like I'm already killing it, so why do I need another character? I don't know.
All right.
So I'm sort of. I was thinking about it. I mean, I am still playing. I play every morning before work. It takes about 20 minutes to do the daily quest, 45 if there's an event. So I'm still playing it, but like now I'm just now I'm starting to question like, oh, what am I doing with my life? I'm playing Dragalia Lost.
Time to play Castle Cats.
Time to play Castle Cats. I'll do the Castle Cat log day 1.
Yeah.
I mean, every game has a ceiling that you're going to hit eventually, where you're just past your point of.
Yeah, I mean,
fun with it.
They could. They could reinvigorate. See, the thing is, the events. There's two kinds of events, and that they just alternate. And even though like the bosses are different, and some of them are very interesting, they're just essentially the same things. There's this one that we just had was what's called a facility event, which is you get a facility that you can build because there's a whole like kingdom building aspect to it as well. And you get a facility that you can build in your kingdom and like level it up, and it gives you like bonuses for whatever element the event is built around. And then there's raid events, which is like 16 player like boss battles, and those can be pretty fun. I mean, the raid bosses are pretty unique, and there's different tactics for each one. But I mean, once you learn it, you've learned it. But you end up, I mean, to really, really get into the event, to get the most out of it, you're going to be fighting that raid boss several times a day. Ugh. And, and it just, that novelty wears off pretty quickly. Like, and what the event's going to be. Like, we just had a facility one. The next one is a raid event. Like, that's what it's going to be. And the first couple times you fight the boss is going to be fun. And the boss has different tactics. The higher in difficulty you go up, which is cool. But, once you've seen it, you've seen it. And, like, that's that. But that event's still going to go on for, 10 days or whatever. So, so I'm sort of questioning, like, okay, what am I going to continue to get out of this? I mean, with what they have, they could build more out of the game, but I don't know. Maybe they're more concerned with getting it into more than just like 5 countries. Like,
would adding more story levels like help? Because I know like Fire Emblem like just kept adding like new story books and stuff with a bunch of chapters
do that.
And everything.
So the game is actually very story intensive. Every character has a story, and as you level them up in their skill tree, you unlock more chapters to their story. Every dragon has a story, so as you increase your bond with the dragon, you unlock more chapters to their story. And then there is a main campaign, and they just released the first add-on chapter for the main campaign, but I don't. I mean, the story is pretty well translated. 8.4 did it. But I'm gonna be frank with you. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not on my phone to like watch all these cutscenes. I don't. I skip them all.
So, like, the levels that are added for the story just don't do anything new enough to interest you?
No, they're pretty. Yeah, no, they don't. I actually have not finished the recently added chapter. I got about halfway through, and I'm like, well, this is basically the same. Mm-hmm. They could do stuff. I mean, towards the end of the campaign. With that it shipped with it's. I mean, it got crazy tough. It was doing. I mean, the game starts very simple. The dungeons are like super simple, and I'm like, oh well, this is maybe it's just simple because you're playing on your phone. No, they get pretty complex with a lot of like traps and stuff to avoid. It's pretty good. They didn't really expand much on that with this edition, and it seems pretty short. It seems more there for like the story component, if that's what you're getting out of the game. I'm not, so. But I mean, they have a lot of the fundamentals there. They just need to expand on it, not just in terms of like dungeon design, because like I think they got the boss design down pretty well. I think the bosses are pretty good, particularly the raid bosses. But like the dungeon design could be improved. And how the heroes interact with each other can be improved. They've done some interesting things, the way that buffs work and how they stack and how like one buff will impact another ability that you use. They've done some interesting things with that, but they could definitely take it some steps further. Apparently, one of the things they're going to introduce is allowing you to equip 2 worm prints. And again, worm prints are these collectible cards that offer status buffs or whatever. So like that's cool, I guess. Like now I can, have 2 different effects, but like that's not like a game changer or anything.
Huh. All right, so you're just gonna play for like another month, but keep complaining about it.
It's not even really. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I'm doing is complaining. Overall, I like it.
You're offering constructive criticism.
Yeah. Because I mean, I do like the game, but but I mean, also on the other hand, I'm someone who has played every day since the day it came out. So I'm gonna have thoughts on like how bored I am, I guess.
Do you get something for being there every day?
There is a login bonus, but it's just based on like I can log in. I can get the bonus for one day, not log in for 3 days, and then on that 4th day, still get the bonus that follows that one. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, at the end of every 10-day cycle is a summon voucher, and I will always get that if I log in 10 times. Doesn't matter. I can do that 10 times over the course of a month. On the 10th time, I'm still going to get that summon voucher. It's just that if I do it every day, I get it sooner.
So there's really no penalty to like skip for a little bit.
No, it depends because they end up. One of the things they end up doing is they break the game, and they're like, "Oops, we broke it. Here's a bunch of shit to make up for it." And you only get the shit if you like logged in between the period of time when it was broken. So if I'm logging in every day, I'm guaranteed to get stuff when they break it. So, like, I guess that's what I'm hoping for.
Huh.
I don't know if that's a solid plan.
Well, I mean, it's a plan.
Yeah, it is a plan.
It's something that you've learned to do.
I'm also playing Tales of Vesperia. That's where a lot of my playtime is going on the Switch, and still really enjoying it. So there's this boss very early in the game. And it's about 5 or 6 hours in, and it is just an incredible sheer difficulty spike. And I couldn't beat this boss. This boss can break your blocks. This boss can poison you. It has 2 minions that flank it. It can go into an over limit, which is like an overdrive, which is like just a super mode that like you can do. And this is the first time a boss could do it. And also the arena is surrounded by flowers that spray pollen that stun you.
Huh.
And he has like a gajillion HP. And he attacks, like at this point, your average character has like, I think like 700, maybe 800 health. Yeah, each one of his hits do about 250.
Oh.
And he can like plow through multiple characters at the same time. So
time to grind?
I mean, you could do that. I actually went. I was like, I don't remember this the first time I played the game. So I Googled it, and it was just a bunch of like game FAQ threads from 2009 bitching about the boss. So like apparently he's been a pain in the ass since the beginning. No, the remastered version has some DLC packs that are free, and it gives you basically it's easy mode. It gives you a shit ton of costumes, a ton of like titles, which the Tales series, you can equip these titles. They might have different effects. It gives you like a gajillion. It gives you these items, and the item is use this item to get like 300,000 currency, gold. It's called in the game, and you'll have multiples of that item. So like between all the items, it's just like millions of gold. Or like use this item and every character instantly gains 5 levels. Hey. So what I did was I unlocked all the costumes so everyone looks like they're just got back from a David Bowie glam concert. And it's fantastic.
They're very fashionable.
It's very good. And I just jacked everyone's level before that. I'm like, whatever. I already fucking played this game. I don't fucking care. Everyone can look androgynous and glittery as shit. And I'm just going to be 30 levels above this boss. It's fine.
And it won't be nearly as hard.
It was still hard. The funny thing is, it was still hard. I think that's because, like, even though my levels were really high, my equipment was not. So I was still taking a beating, and it still took quite a few hits to kill him. But now I'm, like, super leveled. And honestly, I just don't care because, like I said, I've already played the game. I'm not playing it for the challenge, so I'm just smoking. Everything's hitting me for 1 damage. Just beating the shit out of
You give them a hug and they die.
It's so good. It's so good.
Okay.
And I've also played, and I know you're playing this too, Seth, is some Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes.
Oh, I have been playing that.
You have been playing. I saw you playing it the other day. It is a mediocre game that I like. And
I'm surprised you like it.
Really?
Kind of.
Well, I think I like it because it actually surprisingly retains a lot of the No More Heroes like DNA. I watched a bunch of the trailers and I couldn't tell you how this game played from any of those trailers. I understood that there were several different like game worlds that you entered, but every trailer that I saw was just more of Travis brawling. And the game worlds have their own gimmick, but even within that gimmick, you're still just going to do a bunch of brawling.
Yeah, I would say like the gameplay stays the same, but the game design changes.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, it's honestly pretty mediocre. But like I mean, I think when it comes to someone like Suda51 and his games, and I don't like all of his games, but when it comes to his games, most of them are pretty mediocre in the gameplay department. It's not even really just more than a sum of its parts thing. It's like, do you appreciate what he's going for? Do you appreciate the aesthetic that this is wrapped in? And if you do, you're probably more apt to enjoy the mediocre gameplay that's in the middle of all that. But if you don't, if all you just see is a cheesy Japanese game with middling gameplay, I mean, you're not gonna love it. And the reviews basically reflect that. I thought Kotaku's review was the most interesting because it was like, I love everything about this game except playing it, I guess. Like, and I'm like, yeah, there you go. That sounds about right. But yeah, it's not bad, but it's not like a game that I can like recommend to anyone.
So what?
I could recommend it to Suda fans. I think anybody who is into his whole thing would like it.
Yeah, and including No More Heroes fans. Like I was a little apprehensive because No More Heroes is my favorite. Those are my favorite games by him. And I was looking at this and I'm like, this doesn't look like. I mean, even as like a spin-off, it doesn't look like anything that I would enjoy, even as a fan of No More Heroes. But no, it actually surprisingly feels a lot like a No More Heroes game. I mean, it's simplified in some ways. and of course has all this extra stuff. But even like No More Heroes 1 had like the part-time job mini games and stuff. So it's not like it's how those things gel together is completely out of left field, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, if you're a Suda fan, or even if you're someone who enjoyed the first 2 No More Heroes, yeah, I think you're right. You can recommend this to those sort of people. But other than that, like if you're just like, oh, I like action games, or like I don't know, dude, like maybe.
I mean, first of all, the aesthetic is fantastic. I love just when Travis and Batman go into a level, it's like a 60s, 70s, like,
it's so
like
good.
Old time warp thing, and they're like going in the background with the little like tie-dye swirling background and stuff. It's fantastic. And then the like intro, like each different game has an intro, and the second game has like live action FMV for intro, which is just like really cheesily done, but it's so good.
And that's what I mean by like the aesthetic, like that kind of stuff. You know, if you can get into that and appreciate what that's doing, I think that can make up for a lot in the gameplay department, because then it just sort of comes together for you, I think.
Yeah, and then one of my favorite bits is in between levels, you do like an old green screen computer game, visual novel type things, where you're just like reading the story that happens on how Travis gets each new Death Ball. And the Death Balls are the games that plug into this Death Drive Mark II system that they go into. And the dialogue and writing is just really good in those. And it's very fourth wall breaking and very aware of everything that's going on with the game. Like they talk about their Metacritic score and how there's too much dialogue for the for people wanting to play an action game and stuff like that. It's good. It's good writing. It's presented well. The music's fucking awesome, and
yes,
and those old visual novel parts as well. The gameplay is a little. I feel like it almost a little too basic. Like there's a dodge button, right? You could dodge roll, but it doesn't. Yeah, but the dodge roll doesn't cancel out like your attacks or anything. So if like you've already hit in like 2 strong attacks or something, those are coming out. You can't like dodge to cancel and get out of getting hit or anything like that. And I'm like, what the fuck's the point of this dodge roll existing?
Yeah, I mean that's that's like an input based thing. So like, I mean, not to bring everything back to like Souls, but like a Souls game. Like if you do an action, you got to commit to it. Like you're going full through with that. Like Monster Hunter, you're gonna go full. You're gonna go through with that animation. You've committed. You chose fruit. You live with fruit.
I want a dodge cancel. I want to get out of some of those animations. But
well, I mean, I agree because that makes it feel more fast paced and more actiony. But yeah.
And then I like the whole like holding down the left bumper system where you got the like 4 special moves that you could assign to the face buttons, and you hold down the left button and you hit the moves, and there's like a bunch of them, but you could only equip 4 at a time. And as the ones that I are using, like one of them picks up an enemy and you could throw it into other enemies. You could shoot out some like ninja star type things that stun enemies temporarily. There's a gravity well type effect where it slows down all the enemies that are in your line, and then like some Emperor Palpatine electric bolts that you could shoot out.
I wish those were on the triggers rather than the bumpers, though.
Yeah, it was like the triggers don't do anything. I don't know why you can't change that.
That's to me. It's weird to like use the bumpers as like a primary input like that. I feel like it should be on the triggers.
I agree with you, but otherwise, like the gameplay, there's like a light attack where you could just run around swinging your beam katana like an idiot, and you could kill the lighter enemies like that, and then you have a strong attack. But the strong attack with some of the enemies just seems, especially the ones later on that move around more, dig underground and stuff like that, just doesn't seem like enough. You pretty much have to use your L abilities, or otherwise you're taking hits or not getting enough hits in or something.
The strong attack, despite having like that lengthy animation, doesn't seem to feel like it does enough.
Yeah. Have you been leveling up your character, Craig?
When I remember to.
Okay. Yeah. I forget all the time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck, these enemies aren't taking enough. I'm like, oh, I can level up. Right. All right. And that makes you a little stronger.
I wish the enemies were a little more dynamic, because you have that dynamicism in those chips, those skill chips that you can equip. But like, I feel like the enemies aren't as varied as as you can build yourself out to be. But maybe I haven't played enough. I don't know.
Yeah. What game are you up into?
2.
2? Towards the end of 2, you start getting more varied, and then 3 has... So there's like the enemies start getting slightly more varied as you go.
Okay.
I'm in 3 right now, but like the variant, the way they're varied is just like kind of annoying. Like it kind of just makes it so you get less hits in while you wait for them to do like attack animations and avoid them and stuff, unless you use your skill chips. So I don't know. It kind of just makes it more tedious, almost like the more varied the enemies get.
Yeah, that's the brand of difficulty I'm not into. When it injects, rather than like, oh, how do I like cleverly utilize my tools, versus like, oh, okay, well, I have to wait for them to do a thing, and I have to wait for this skill to come off cooldown or whatever. I'm not into that brand of. I'm not into time management difficulty.
Have you played co-op at all with Megan?
No.
Oh my god.
I don't know the first thing about this game except for that Craig was excited it was coming out, and now I know that apparently there's things that you can use the L bumper for. And
beautiful. Let's play together.
And something about T-shirts.
Craig's not playing co-op with you. That means he's like afraid that he's going to get mad at you while playing. That's valid.
No, I don't. Yeah, well, that's true. I don't think that's the case here. I was very frustrated with that Yoshi game because Yoshi shouldn't have collision detection. I'm sorry.
I agree.
They shouldn't have collision detection. But no, we don't really play the Switch on the TV.
Right. All right.
Nope.
You look like you were gonna ask something, Megan.
Yeah, I completely forgot what my question was. It's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all I've been playing. Which is, I guess, No More Heroes is new, but it really is not
much new.
No, not really much new. No, I'm still waiting on Grandia 2 to come out the Switch. I'm really looking forward to that. But
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited for it. And it's supposed to come out like this winter, so like, oh, I guess I'll have to wait till like fucking March or whatever. That's still technically winter.
It is.
Yeah, I guess that's it for me. How about you, Seth?
I don't remember. No, I've been playing more Resident Evil 6 with you. We've completed Chris's campaign now and Jake's campaign.
Jake Roberts.
Jake Wesker. Chris's was it's very shooter heavy. I mentioned that last time. I wasn't very far into it though. But man, it has some really bad vehicle sections in Chris's campaign. There's one bit where you're driving a Jeep while the other person's gunning in the Jeep.
Incredible.
And the graphics turn into a PSP game. It's insane. Like geometry on the road is like very angular. Even like the lines in the road are like they're all angles. And then the lighting. I think it has like straight up like you know the cardboard effect that old games do where they're like just sprites in front of things.
Yes,
they got like sprite for the lights, like light glows over the light poles. There's just like it's like a cardboard 2D sprite floating in front of the light.
How
to make
fast
them
is the vehicle moving?
Not overly fast.
Oh, real? Okay. I read this one article, and I think about this all the time. This is the first time where like I've read about like how developers like use illusions to like fool you, and it was like an article in Nintendo Power for like I think it was Pod Racer on the N64, and how they had to convey a sense of speed, on this piece of shit called the Nintendo 64, and they just like they stretched out the textures on like the ground to make them look like that they were like like the sand was just sort of like zooming past underneath you, and I guess I was just thinking, like, if the Jeep was moving fast, that, like, they were just like, well, whatever. It doesn't really... You're not going to be looking at it long enough to notice.
No, this is very noticeable everywhere. It's got, like, cardboard cross-section trees where they're just, like, stuck together like a diorama.
That's incredible. That's so good.
Like, they stuck, like, a complete... And a lot of the game looks, like, really, really good, especially for, like, a last-gen game. You forget that's a last-gen game. Like, the character models and a lot of the environments... look fantastic, and then all of a sudden you just get to this bit, and it feels like they put like some sort of not even a B team, like a C or D team on this bit. And the gameplay is like trash too. Like I think you're chasing Ada in her Ferrari or whatever sexy car she drives,
and you're chasing it in a Jeep.
And yes, you're in a Jeep, and like I'm just like, you gotta. Oh, and the Jeep has like nitro boost for some reason.
Yeah, of course it does.
And like you trying to get close to her, but then she just speeds up, and then you realize that you can't like go any faster than you're going. It's just like kind of timed on when you'll finally catch up to her, and you could shoot some enemies in the meantime. And then there's also like a airplane bit where one character is flying an airplane, and they could shoot guns, and then the other person.
Please tell me you're walking on the wing.
No. You're just. It's like SWAT cats. The other person in the back's just like aiming at things and waiting for like the rectangle to turn red, and then just shooting lock-on missiles. It's very boring.
Oh,
you're the tow cable guy.
Yeah. Hugh got to fly the jet, but that didn't seem all that exciting either. So I was just back there like holding reticles over things until they turn red and squeezing the trigger.
Way to be part of the team.
Yeah, I was doing it.
You did an important job.
So, yeah, some weird misguided bits in Chris's campaign. Jake's campaign was a mix somewhere between Leon's and Chris's, where it's more action-heavy, but not straight up just army of two type of thing. And there's actually bits where you're like, you have no weapons in Jake's campaign, and Jake has like a hand-to-hand combat skill where he could just beat the shit out of people with his hands. God, Jake's character's so fucking terrible. He's like moody guy who's too cool to be anywhere, and who goes to stands and looks outside windows whenever there's a window available.
God,
I think, I got to tell you, between this episode and the last episode of the podcast, I think this is like the most opinions anyone has ever had on Resident Evil 6 ever, even including when it came out.
And then Jake's has vehicle sections too, but his are better. There's like a snowmobile one where you're outrunning an avalanche, which is kind of cool, outside of one bit where Hugh kept dying over and over, and I was mad at him.
Oh, God.
Was this Yoshi? Was this your Yoshi's Woolly World?
I was very polite about it. I was like, haha, no, it's fine, Hugh. And then I was like, inside, I was like, no, fuck this guy. Fucking, I'm just joking because I know he listens to this.
I'm only joking because I know he's listening.
I want him to worry because you know how he gets. But no.
That was even more shade, I think, than you know how Hugh gets. Jesus.
He's so polite and considerate of everybody and their feelings.
He is, and I feel bad. I feel like I'm throwing him into a tizzy right now. But there's also like a lot of bad, like Sonic Adventure running at the camera segments too, like even on foot.
This game sounds fucking incredible.
We didn't buy it yet, but we're gonna.
Yeah, it's Leon's campaign is like genuinely like just good. Chris's is whatever. Jake's campaign is like sort of so bad it's good. So overall, just still very happy with the game.
Good.
I wonder if we can play multiplayer on the same TV. Probably not.
I can't remember if there's split screen.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We're not buying another PS4 just for that.
Listen, we've been talking about buying another PS4 for other reasons.
But I'm not going to play Overwatch. I can't play Overwatch with you. You're way better than me.
We play together. We can work together.
Mm-hmm. And you can shout at me from the other room, Megan!
There is local split screen.
Oh, yay! Ow, why are you drumming on my arm?
I was very excited.
I know. I thank you for being so excited.
All right, so here's the piece de resistance, the coup de grace to this whole Resident Evil 6 story. So we started Ada's campaign, which is at the end, and initially it was a single-player only campaign, but on the PS3 version, they added a patch to make it so that you could play it co-op and online and all that. The co-op partner is just called Agent.
Oh, good. They really tried hard on that.
He cannot interact with anything. He can't interact with doors or computers or like little puzzles that you need to like look through walls to look at paintings to solve. And then Ada has like a grapple hook because she's Batman. So she could like just grapple around the levels, and every time she grapples somewhere, you just appear right next to Ada again. Just pop up and teleport right next to her.
So they phoned it in, huh?
Yes, but he's my favorite because I was sort of role playing him as like a figment of Hugh's imagination because he just pops up everywhere. Like, hey Ada, hi, how's it going? I'm just going to shoot some people with you. Yep. So it's fun. It's good stuff.
I'm going to be the agent when we play together. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He has a sweet. I think they just like ripped off like Hunk's move sets from like Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries too. Because I went behind the character and I was like, "Am I going to just snap this guy's neck like Hunk?" And then it was the exact same Hunk neck snap from Resident Evil 4 Mercenaries mode. So it's good stuff.
They're doing some good recycling.
Yes, absolutely. I played some more Dragon Grandpa. Danganronpa.
That's exciting. How's that going?
Yeah, I got to figure out what the whole gameplay mode I was missing. So somebody got murdered. Mm-hmm. I was very excited for that. I wasn't excited for who got murdered. It's very stylish. It's like very gruesome, but all the blood is like a bright Anne Frank pink. It's very pretty. Anne Frank, Lisa Frank, Jesus Christ.
Say Anne Frank?
That's very dank, dude.
That's very, wow. Lisa Frank. That's the
so it's
90s.
Like neon.
It's a neon pink. It's very pretty. It's like they're bleeding Pepto-Bismol all over the place.
Lovely.
So then it turns into like sort of a Phoenix Wright type game where you're first you got to like collect a bunch of evidence. I don't think you could miss any. It's not timed or anything, and that whole mode just seemed to stop once I collected all the evidence you can. The evidence was called truth bullets as I was collecting it, which made no sense to me. I was very confused. It was like, you found a missing knife. You got a truth bullet. I'm like, what the fuck's a truth bullet?
A bullet in your truth journal.
So then you get into this...
What?
You get into a court thing where you got to determine who is the murderer. If you guess wrong, everybody dies except for the murderer, and they get to escape this school. If you guess right, the murderer gets murdered. So,
no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. The way that it plays out is everybody's standing around in a circle looking at each other, like sort of debating and stuff. And the characters will say dialogue, like, of what happened and blah, blah, blah. And the dialogue, like, physically, like, there's a text graphic that, like, plays across the screen and might, like, scroll past in direction or fade in, fade out, whatever. But there's orange bits of dialogue, and there's a reticle on screen, and you aim at these orange bits, and you fire a truth bullet at it. Oh. And it, like, sort of shatters, and then you, like, disprove something that they're saying as false, which is where the truth bullets come in.
So you really have to pay attention to, like, what you picked up and what's going on. Yeah,
so early on, there's only one truth bullet, but there's multiple, like, things that you could say are false with you. You want to shoot the right one. But then I guess they show an example and say on harder difficulties as well that there will start being multiple truth bullets. So you got to cycle through them and select the right truth bullet and then fire it at the right statement that's being said. And the statements like cycle through. So if you miss something, you get it again. It is timed though, so you can't do that forever. But so at least you got time to digest what people are saying. You're like, oh, that's false. I got to load up the right evidence as a truth bullet and fire it at that. So that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Then there's another bit of the court session where it's sort of like Hangman, where like somebody will say something and they'll be like, well, this proves whatever. And then there'll be like a word down in the bottom left that has a lot of blank spaces, and like these letters will start like popping up on screen, and you got to like fill in the blanks in the right way. I don't understand the point of that, but it's interesting
for
regardless.
A game within a game.
Yes, and then the final gameplay. Oh no, there's a couple. So after you like prove everything that you say is accurate, there's like a time to go over this entire court. Or entire case. We've got to go over this entire case, and I'll explain how everything went. and then a comic pops up, like a comic book.
Yep.
And you take these icons that you get that are at the bottom of the screen, like little pictures of what happened, and you stick them in the right panels of the comic. So then you recreate the scenario of how this person got murdered using little pictures, and then they fill in, and then it plays out and makes sort of like a motion comic, and you get to watch the person get murdered as a motion comic, which
That's
is
fun.
cool. Yeah, I like that bit. And then at the very end, there's like a rhythm game type thing where you got to like hit X and triangle like to a beat as the person freaks out about like being caught, and you like prove them wrong and stuff. And then that person's found guilty of murder, and then they get killed themselves in a horribly gruesome yet creative way.
This actually sounds like a game I'd probably really like.
Yeah, I was getting into it, and the first case was actually really cool. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who wants to play, but the person who gets killed is like, oh, not them. And then you find out like what the person who got killed kind of like had it coming and deserved it. It was like sort of a whole swap around. So it was like really interesting. And as soon as I like found, like there was one piece of evidence, like they were the only person who came in and got the knife that night. I was like, wait, if they got the knife, oh, those fucking assholes, they were trying to frame me. So I was like, good, glad you got murdered. Yeah, no, so it's cool. I'm liking it. I'm on like chapter 2 now, but I haven't gotten that far in it because I got distracted by Travis Strikes Again and stuff like that.
Yes.
But no, it's good. It's good stuff.
Sounds
That's yeah, no, it's good. I think that's it for me.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great. You played 2 very cool games.
it was 3 because
3.
also Travis Strikes Again and Resident Evil 6.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
I played some like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe with my nephew because he had it on his Switch, and we were like playing at the breakfast table and stuff. But it's not anything I can talk about because it's
Is it
just
fun?
Mario. Yeah, it's fun.
There you go.
He tried handing me like a Joy-Con half. I'm not about to play Mario with a baby analog stick. I was like, nah, let me go get my Pro controller. and hook
So we
this
can
up.
sit in front of where breakfast, we can see our breakfast, but
Yes.
they'll play Mario instead.
Yes, absolutely.
Neat.
Oh wait, no, I'm lying. I have one more thing to talk about.
Well, let's hear it.
I've been playing a bunch of Smash Bros. Ultimate because I started a tournament. I'm running a tournament on the boards that me and Craig post on.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm not part of this tournament.
No, I know you are.
Craig's not in it.
No, I'm not. I'm not good enough. I can play Smash Brothers, but I'm not good enough to like compete.
And is this like people playing online against each other?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
so
just
fun.
whenever they could get together. So I like set up a bracket and I did random seating and everything. And the fucking there's like one dude on the board who's really good. I played him in the last Smash game a lot, where I beat his ass more often. And the very first match I got fucking pitted against him, and then I lost. And I did double elimination, so I'm in the losers bracket now. Mm-hmm. But I'm coming back for him. I'm gonna plow through this losers bracket. I'm gonna get to grand finals and beat his ass.
You go, Seth. Oh, I'm cheering on for you. 'Cause
Thank you.
I don't know who else is playing, but you kick
People-
their ass.
I will. I'm in on this. But I get like addicted. Like, well, I'll start like playing online, just random quick play matches, and I'll end up playing for like 3 to 5 hours. Just
Wow.
just fighting people. And then when I'm like sick of that, the Spirit board, is it the Spirit board in Spirit mode? Whatever the one where it has
Yeah.
the bounty and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you could just play that forever. Like,
Well, you have to wait for them to come back, but you have to wait for them to like refill.
oh, there's enough. I mean, the entire board fills up pretty fast now because I unlocked all the slots, I guess, and everything. I don't know, man. I play that mode, and I just get it's like infinite unique matches. It's great.
Yeah, I like the Spirit board.
It's a great addition. Anyways, that's all of me. So now, Megan, you can talk about stuff.
That sounds really fun. Especially like the online, like playing with your other friends bracket thing. That
Yeah,
sounds
and
cool.
I like organizing and I like keeping it up to date and everything, and making up rules and stuff like that. It's fun.
Cool. Video games.
All right. Well, you don't have to keep humoring him. You can talk about your
Well,
stuff.
I'm not humoring him.
I'm like, what are you stalling? What's going
she's like
on
looking
here?
at me like she's stalling. I'm like, you
I'm
can
not
read.
stalling.
Let's keep this train moving.
God, okay, fine.
Jesus, Megan.
It's my fault. Podcast is ruined. It's Castle Cats Day 530.
Yay!
Yay! The event has one more day for the winter holiday event. I've given up because I got my Nutcracker kitty. I sacrificed 6 other cats so I could get this Nutcracker cat. Her name is Peanut, and she is precious, and I love her. So it was absolutely worth however much time I actually spent grinding all of those materials. What?
You posted a screenshot
did.
of whatever's going on in this game. I called one of the eggs, I think it was, the
vulva.
nut egg. I called it a vulva in a ribbon.
Yes.
And the official Castle Cats Twitter gave me a like for that.
Yes, of course they did. They have a pretty good social media presence.
Well, these guys are dirty.
Hey, who knows? They're adults.
Like, yeah,
so.
we're in the vault. they're adults. We're adults here. We know what a vulva is.
Right. Yeah, so I sacrificed my kitties. I got my cute little Peanut. There was one new egg that I didn't have already that was like a sparkly egg, so I ground out what I needed for that, and it turned out to be a New Year's Eve cat. Her name is Eve. She wears a party dress. She's a New Year's cat. Last year you could buy her in like mythic cat boxes using gems, and this year you can now grow her, which is nice because I have terrible luck with the RNG getting new cats from purchasing cat boxes. So that was neat. I don't know. I'm kind of burnt out after all of that fun.
You're starting to feel like me with like Dragalia Lost.
Sort of. But there's going to be a spring event here around the corner, and I'm sure I will be reinvigorated, but at this point in time, I'm kind of like, well, I'll just go on and I'll keep my streak up. They have these, it's not really like a live chat, but there's sort of a chat component. And so you can post something and then you can comment on somebody else's post. So it's almost like a Facebook thread. So I've been going on there, and people who are like level 8 and 10 are like, how do I get a red rare ember? And I'm like, I got you, fam. And then I explain how they could do that, because when I started playing, they didn't have that. So I had to figure out whatever I needed to do by myself. So that's, I'm giving wisdom to the youngins, and we'll see how entertaining that is. But I actually came across, because some people, like, their levels, for some reason, like, I don't have a unique username. I'm just like user blah, 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 blah. I don't know how to change it. And I'm like, I don't care enough to change it. It's fine. But there are some people who have like their actual username and then what level they are. And I came across like a level 300, and I was like, how are you?
What level are you?
I'm 176, 177. Like, it takes hundreds of thousands of XP to level at this point, and you get at most 2,000 XP a quest. So I don't know how these people have so many levels. Maybe they buy things. I don't know.
They're the whales.
The whales?
So, for Megan and anyone who doesn't know what a whale is,
I don't know.
When you have a mobile game, right? Most people aren't spending money in the game. And when they do, they're like you. They spend they play it for 530 days.
Yeah.
And they spend like $20, right?
Okay.
That's not going to fund the game.
Right.
What funds the game is like the top like 1 or 2% of people who are spending hundreds, maybe sometimes even thousands of dollars on a game, and they're referred to as whales.
I can't imagine anyone spending thousands of dollars on fucking Castle Cats, but
there's like great like Reddit threads about people ruining their lives because of mobile games.
Wow. I mean, I guess I could see it if you have like a hard time with impulse control, or you get really into something and just...
But people do. I mean, it's sort of like almost like loot boxes. Those sort
Right.
of discussions we had about loot boxes where, you can make an argument, it's not gambling, and maybe buying, your gems or whatever is not gambling.
Right.
But it sort of like triggers that same kind of behavior.
Or like sort of what you get from doing like quote unquote retail therapy, because you're like purchasing something and it scratches an itch
too. Yeah.
So, that's a good point. I mean, Castle Cats, they're offering all sorts of different things now. So you can have a subscription, like a monthly subscription. So every day you get so many gems, and it's like a payment plan for tons of gems.
It's a loan shark.
Basically. And like
awesome.
at this point, like at one point I had 150,000 coins. Like I don't need gold coins for much. So they have outfit boxes that are 50,000 gold coins so that you can get some fucking shit for your guild leader cat to wear. So I bought a couple of those because I didn't know what to spend my money on. So I can't imagine having that many resources and deciding like, I'll just use my real money as well. So that's Castle Cats. It's still there. I also I bought The Gardens Between on the Switch during holiday time.
Yeah, I think it was during holiday time.
During holiday time. And I downloaded it, and then I didn't even go back to it until this week. And Seth, have you heard of this?
No, I haven't heard of The Gardens Between.
Yeah, I kept calling it The Garden Between or The Garden Betweens, or like I kept misremembering the title. But it's a fun puzzle game. And you manipulate time to solve puzzles, but the environment that you're in, that you're manipulating, you can't change the things that are going to happen. You can just rewind and fast forward, and there are certain places where you can like activate something to solve the puzzle. So there's two characters, a little girl, well, they're like 11, 12, a girl and a boy. And so the girl holds like a lantern, and so there's a flower that puts the light in the lantern, and then there's a boy who can trigger this kind of like pulley or something, and it will either open a flower that creates the light or close it, and then there's another flower that will suck a light away, which is important because there's like spaces where there's this purple fog, and the light will make the fog go away, but you can walk on the fog if you don't have the light. So in terms of like the skill set, it's relatively basic, but the puzzles are really fun. And the whole game is basically like these kids are BFFs, and you are playing through their memories and sort of reliving their time together because the little boy is moving away.
I'm looking up like pictures and videos. It looks pretty awesome.
It's really like, it's pretty. I didn't listen to the soundtrack a whole bunch because usually I was like with Craig watching something, but it was pretty. I really liked it. The only point I got frustrated and felt like I had to look something up was near the very end, because I just couldn't figure out like what I was missing. And it was because I was supposed to do the same game mechanic twice, and I thought I had to do something different. But meh.
Man, I hate that. There was there was a puzzle like in one of the Sam and Max games, one of the Telltale ones, where like you're supposed to just do something like twice. Like I already did something. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is what you're supposed to do, and then I did it, and like the right thing didn't happen. So I was like, all right, what the hell am I supposed to do? So I just wandered around forever, and then I looked it up. I was supposed to do the exact same thing again, and it was like supposed to work the second time. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that?
Just gotta keep slamming on the same buttons, I guess.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Well, if you like puzzle games, and if you
love them,
yeah, so you probably really like this. I think I played the whole thing in a day. Like it's not a long game. I think I spent maybe 4 hours with it.
Okay.
So yeah, it was really lovely. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool the way that, like, even though you can manipulate time, like, they cannot change really the big picture stuff. They can only move through it. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was fun.
I like the art style too and everything.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's lovely. I really liked it. I might actually just like replay it from the beginning because I had a lot of fun and I don't remember what the beginning puzzles were like. So it probably had some replay value. Once I finished that, I immediately went and started up Undertale because I bought it again during holiday times and like didn't do anything with it. And one of my friends had gotten me a copy of Undertale on Steam, but my PC is old and doesn't really like to work, and the Mac isn't a place I like to sit and play games on. So I hadn't played more than like maybe 10 minutes of Undertale. And so now I've played 15 minutes of Undertale. And maybe by next episode I'll have played more. We'll see. But I mean, what I've played so far is cute. I like that you can like compliment your enemies and not have to fight. Is there, for some reason, like I thought there might be like a challenge where you have to play Undertale and not actually fight anything. Like you have to talk your way out of it.
No, well,
that's a thing.
Yeah, you do engage in like the battle, but you can finish the game as a pacifist and not actually like defeat anything.
Maybe I'll try that. I don't think I've hit anybody yet, so.
And the game knows when you like reset too. Like even if you load an old, it's doing some like saving in the background. Because I killed somebody, and then I was like, oh, maybe I didn't want to kill them. So then I like reloaded a save and I saved them. But then there's like some characters like, I know what you did. I know that you killed that person and restarted. I was like, oh, I
just got shivers. I feel like that's really creepy.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Ooh,
it's a neat mechanic.
Yeah, no, that sounds like it would be a fun, especially if you're like paying super close attention to what people are saying and not just, speed reading through or just jamming that A button past all the dialogue. Yeah, so we'll see.
I killed most everybody in the game.
You did?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I killed people who I didn't like, and I let some people live who I did like. I was very pick and choose. I was judge, jury, and executioner. Yeah,
that's what video games are for.
I feel like some people didn't deserve any redemption.
We'll compare notes once I have actually spent any time with it.
All right.
I picked up Gal Metal. Craig and I went to the mall to just like wander around the mall one day, and so we were in the GameStop. It's GameStop, right? GameStop. My mind just was like Game Fun, and I was like, that's not the right words.
I'm gonna open a video game store called
Game Fun. Yeah, my brain didn't want to put the words together.
Funko Stop.
So, oh man, Funko Land was the best. So, I saw this Switch game, and it had a bunch of anime girls on it and some aliens, and it said Gal Metal, and it said Save the World with Metal. I was like, that's the game for me. And I gave them my plastic card because no one has cash anymore, and brought it home. And it is fun. I haven't played a ton of it because I definitely have to like be able to hear what's happening in order to play it. But it's these high school girls, and they're in a metal club, and there's some basically a satellite played metal out into space, and it hurt. Well, the aliens are too busy headbanging to like get to whatever they're supposed to be doing. So some of the aliens come to Earth to basically tell them to knock it off, and I guess do harm to the teenage girls. But this the main character, whose name I can't remember for the life of me. Have you ever seen Your Name, the anime movie?
Your Name?
Your Name?
No.
Oh, right?
It's good as shit.
Your Name. It's a great movie. But basically, it's sort of like a body swap movie. essentially.
Yeah.
And so this,
I got scared for a second there because I thought like you gave away the twist, but that's not really.
That's not the twist.
It happens in the don't give
right.
away that.
That's in the beginning.
Yeah.
So in Gal Metal, it's not so much body swap as like the boy. She is near this boy when some aliens show up, and basically his mind gets transported into her body, and so he controls her body, and she's just shouting at him from inside her own head, which is weird. But she can play the drums, but he can't, and so the whole game is her teaching him how to play the drums for this metal club to fight off the aliens.
Huh.
And
That's kind of funny.
It's fun. There's like manga style cut scenes where, it's in color and you read the manga and whatever. And, you go to your metal club practice, and like there's sort of an aspect where you get to go do extracurricular activities, like hang out at the convenience store and
the Combini.
Yeah. And there's, because doing each activity will give you like boosts to certain aspects of your drumming. So there's like passion and cult, spelled K-U-L-T, with like a skull. I don't know what
fucking game.
I don't know what that means because I didn't read the instruction booklet it came with. But I'm sure if
Side note, it came with an instruction
booklet. And
stickers.
And stickers. And it's a foil case. Mwah, this game.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's great. I'm gonna play some more this weekend.
Okay.
But I thought it was gonna be like, I get to play like Metallica as like an anime girl, but that's not really how the game works. You just learn drum rhythms, and then when you fight the aliens, because you have these battles against the aliens where you just play like a metal song, and you just have to make up like, using these drum rhythms, an interesting set of rhythms, and get a high combo.
So it just teaches you the building blocks, and then you can use those building blocks creatively. I gotta be honest, when I hear you play, it just sounds like a metronome. Yeah,
it's really not good because I wasn't comfortable with that. I wanted to play like something I already knew what it sounded like. So and also like I was playing holding Joy-Cons, and I think I was being too vigorous, so it was catching my up movement as well as my down movement.
Motion.
And so it was bad. And also I was having a hard time keeping time. So there are a couple of problems.
My favorite thing about Megan is that whenever she plays a rhythm game, this game is off. We'll play
This game needs to be calibrated.
We'll play Rock Band at a friend's house, and everyone else has had to turn around this drum set. No problem. Megan's sitting there fucking up all her notes. I think something's wrong with the drum set.
Most of the time I've been drinking, so that's definitely part of it.
Fair point.
You got to calibrate for your delayed
for the drum
exactly, and so they weren't calibrated for my delayed reaction time. But this game was more like I didn't know what to expect, and then I was surprised and semi-disappointed. So
it seems like everything about it is like really cool, except for actually playing the music.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like No More Heroes.
Kind of.
It's like you're No More Heroes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got Gal Metal version.
Because it does seem really interesting, and then I saw you playing it, and like all the drum rhythms were like click, 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 click.
I'm sure it'll get better once I actually remember, because I have to like memorize shit, which is not great for me. So
you were selling me on the game up until you started talking about the drumming.
Listen, Seth, you'd probably still really enjoy it because you can probably remember things.
It's only been like the first few songs, though, right?
Yeah, I've only done one real battle, 2 battles, and there's it's broken up into chapters. So I'm on like chapter 3. I think there's like 13 chapters or something. So I'll let you know how it goes.
All right. I sort of just want this foil cover, to be honest.
It's great.
I love foil covers,
beautiful.
Man.
Yeah. And then the omnipresent Fallout 76. I'm still playing. I hit level 50. So I can't gain any points, like special points. I can only change, like, so if I put a point in agility and I decide I need to put one in charisma, I can move it from agility to charisma. But I can't add just a point to charisma. So I've got however many fucking points, 50 maybe, 49, whatever. I've only got that many points to work with, and so now I can either swap them around, but only one at a time every time I level. So that's
you can only respec when you level.
No, you have a choice of either moving a point or just getting a perk card so that you can learn more perks and then like sort of do different builds.
So like you can only move the points around when you level. You can only respec
yes,
when
you can
level.
only
Oh man, I mean, it's so easy to dunk on this game, but that sounds obnoxious. It sounds like it's like an artificial way to like make you excited to like level up past 50. Right? So instead of like giving you like another point, like you've been getting up until this point, they're like, oh, you can move points around. And you're like, oh, so you're not going to give me anything. I'm gonna move around my existing ones you've already given me, but only when I level.
Yeah, and my problem is my build, I have like 3 points in charisma and 15 in strength. So
because you're not talking to anything,
right.
They're all dead. You're punching them,
right? Well, the charisma has to do with like teaming up with other like humans. But yeah, no. So I can carry and beat the shit out of things with melee weapons, but God help us if we're in a team, because I can't do anything to be helpful besides be there. So I don't know. Whatever. I'm doing a quest, and I joined the Enclave, which is apparently something from Fallout 3.
The Enclave. I think it was. I mean, I really don't have too much experience with any Fallouts before 3, but I think the Enclave existed before 3. But the Enclave was in 3. Yeah, it was part of the 3's plot point. Yeah.
So basically, I talked to a screen, and it's going to send me on some quests. And right now, I've got to like go do some fucking I don't even know, some tasks to become a general level, like an army general. To, I don't know, have access to some shit. I listened to the dialogue, but I was kind of like, okay, I don't really.
The other day when Mega was playing, like the server was having issues, and it just like conked out. So like all the enemies just stopped moving, and she's in this room with this zombie, and it wasn't doing anything. So what does Megan do? She fucking whips out the camera and starts posing with the fucking zombie.
I took a selfie with it. Usually the Scorched don't stay still long enough.
It was very good.
It's fantastic.
Her name's Brenda. I named her.
Don't name the zombies.
It's okay. I killed her shortly afterwards.
The server caught up.
Yeah, the server. So the server stopped responding, and so I was punching Brenda, but nothing was happening. So I was like, okay. And so I took a photo because she was just staring at me. I was like, okay. And then she hit me, and I was like, oh, okay, we're back.
This friendship is over.
It's like, this is fine. It's okay, Brenda. Good night. Yeah, I mean, there's still some places I haven't explored, I guess, or there's probably some shit I could do. I don't know. It's sort of coming to a point where, like, I enjoy the game, but honestly, when I'm not playing it, I don't know why I enjoy playing it, so...
I think you're going to have to team up with people. There's like endgame dungeons. There's like, you haven't done anything with the nuclear silos.
Yep, I've almost teamed up with a couple of people a couple of times.
God.
So, I'm dipping my toe in the water. And then the last thing is, Seth, I did try the Konami Picross, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation.
It's fun. It's free and it's fun.
It's great.
When I was in on it, the first day, because I got it, I downloaded like right when it became available. There were like no ads anywhere. None of them were playing. Now there's ads.
Ads everywhere. Yeah, I like saw them and I was like, well, this isn't really being disruptive, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think they're that bad.
No.
Anyway,
so I'm
glad you like it.
I do, and I'll probably play some more at some point. And that's all I got.
Oh my God, let's do news.
Let's do news.
What news do we have?
Well, we got a couple pieces of news. So number one is that the rumor is EA has canceled a Star Wars game they had in development that was single player, story driven, open world, and
which they were making to replace their other Star Wars game that they
story-driven
canceled that was,
open world. Yeah, was that 1313 that they were replacing? Is that
it was whatever the one where the Uncharted chick was making.
Yeah, I think that was 1313.
Yeah.
This seemed like people were really upset about this when this news broke, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. Because I mean, like, well, here's the thing. I mean, that game could have been good. Like, it has nothing to do with, like, the game has everything to do with the fact, like, we know nothing about this game. Maybe it existed. Like, that's literally all we know. And that doesn't say anything to me. I think a lot of, like, I think like EA and Activision and Ubisoft are really struggling to put out meaningful games. They still put out games that people buy and they make millions of dollars, but like I think if I had to guess, if this game existed and it is now shut down, it's probably due to a lack of direction. Like, I don't know what the fuck these guys are doing. Like, Ubisoft, I've been enjoying Assassin's Creed, but, I mean, you look around at other stuff they're doing, like Watch Dogs or whatever. Like, what is going on with that? What is going on with Far Cry? What is this new Far Cry? Like, that game comes out next month.
Next month?
It comes out in a matter of weeks.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing in a matter of weeks.
Are we buying that game?
I don't know. Probably not. Like, is it a full price game?
I think so, yes.
Oh, fuck no.
Right, it's not like an expansion.
It looks like a DLC expansion.
Right, that's my point. I have no idea what these major publishers are doing. They seem just up Schitt's Creek.
They all need to go on a vacation and just, like, do a recharge.
Oh, honey, but the shareholders, the shareholders.
If they keep putting out garbage, no one's going to fucking buy anything.
Well, I think that's why people are disappointed. I mean, I think EA has, like, the exclusive Star Wars license right now for the time being, and people were looking forward to just, like, a cool single-player big Star Wars game, and now they only got one source for that, and that's EA, and that's canceled, so, like, just got to wait for... Well, either for their license to run out, and
the problem is that these bigger publishers are struggling to further monetize these games beyond the initial.
Yeah, because they want fucking Call of Duty type monetization and everything, but that's not. I mean, obviously, Ubisoft is trying with the Assassin's Creed games for single player stuff, but it's just not conducive to like single player games for the most part. I don't think so. I mean, you know, Assassin's Creed has DLC, which is fine. I got like 50 or 60 hours out of the last game. I don't need to play the DLC. I really don't care. But yeah, I mean, you can buy. It's like a mobile game. Like you can buy currency to then buy like weapons and stuff. But the game gives you weapons. Like it don't like some of it's like cosmetic stuff, and like some of it are like these really cool weapons. They're like, you know, level locked, so it's not like buying like a badass sword and just like cutting your way through the game from like level 1 or anything. But I think what you know, in that case, like Ubisoft is trying to find some way to monetize something without coming across as egregious. So people will pick on that and be like, oh, this is ridiculous. They're selling swords. And it's like, you know, dude, do you want them to sell like loot boxes? Like, what's the alternative here? I mean, I guess the alternative is not selling any of this stuff, but these games, I mean, these Assassin's Creed games are fucking huge. They're massive. Thousands of people are working on these games. Yeah, they're like huge budget. Like that's the thing. They want to budget for these huge games that aren't going to bring in that much money unless they do these paid things. But nobody wants that. So I mean, they just need to cut back the budgets on these games. They just need to make it realistic, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you run into this problem where like, is the game going to sell when it's not
as good,
as big, right? Because people want big games, you know, like Rockstar makes big games. Yeah, Rockstar makes like one game every 7 years.
Well, Rockstar's games sell like 100 million copies, so they could do whatever the fuck they want.
And do they just make like Rock Band?
Rockstar makes Grand Theft Auto, honey.
Makes who?
Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption.
And Red Dead Redemption.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that like if like Ubisoft were to put out like a much smaller less expensive to create Assassin's Creed, then you're just going to get a bunch of like people who are like, oh, well, this sucks. Like all these things that were like in this game before, they're not here now.
They painted themselves into a corner, Craig.
There's no pleasing everyone.
Well, what ends up happening is you don't please anyone.
Right.
I mean, big budget games are big budget games
Right.
for a reason. I mean, that's what they are. Like, it's like going to see like this Avengers movie coming up, and like nobody fights anyone. They just sort of talk out their differences, and Thanos goes, "You're right, my mistake."
So long as everyone kisses at the end,
Yeah,
I
right.
guess.
I would like that. That's a good idea for a movie, Craig.
We'll start writing the screenplay tomorrow, Seth.
Okay.
I think it's
Okay.
already in the can, honey. But you know,
We're gonna do Avengers 3 alternate.
It's our own fan fiction.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it probably already exists.
It probably does.
Definitely with the kissing.
Definitely with the kissing. It's not even about paying themselves in the corner. It's just like I think no, that's probably true. No, that's a good I think that's part of it, but I think it's just increasing expectations. But only when it comes to these games, like indie games are so popular now that it's not even worth making the distinction that they're indie anymore. We only make that distinction to contrast them with major
AAA.
publisher games.
Yeah.
But like, I'm having just as much fun playing Moonlighter or Celeste, these games that I paid, less than $20 for. Well, maybe I'm enjoying those more than Assassin's Creed, but but like the fun level's comparable, and like that's a major big budget game. But I think for some people, they can make that distinction in their head. Oh, this is a $20 indie game. This is a $60 big budget game with microtransactions. I expect it to have 80 million miles of accurate Greek countryside and boats that don't go all the way to the islands because there's shoals.
And maybe some people like that.
A lot of people like that.
I guess so.
But I don't see a way out of this. And clearly these publishers don't either because they're struggling to adapt and to create meaningful games in that big budget space.
I wish we knew more about the Star Wars game and like what sort of.
Probably not a lot of kissing.
Well, yeah, but even still, if it was just like, do you all train as Jedi? Like, what's
Single player.
Right, you all being everybody who plays the game.
Oh, I see.
Like, is it only Jedi? Like, can you play something else? Like, where does it take place? Literally any information so that people would be more interested in actually, like, thinking about whatever sort of lore they're basing it, because there's all those books and things, and...
all the books aren't canon anymore.
They're not?
There's some newer books, but yeah, all the expanded universe stuff that happened before Disney took it over is not canon anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, they wiped it all.
Especially considering there was stuff that happened after the movies that was canonical. Like Luke is married and Han and Leia are married, and they have a whole mess of fucking Jedi kids.
And then Ben Solo.
Well, now it's just Ben Solo. So
He ate all of his siblings.
That's where you got that broad chest from.
So we got his triangle bod.
But yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I think Seth is right. People are upset because there's a potential to have this not only a Star Wars game but a single player big budget game as well. And
It's probably similar to like if a Harry Potter type, because all the Harry Potter nerds would want to be like, I want to go to Hogwarts. And I don't know how you'd make that fun. I love Harry Potter, but that sounds boring. But
isn't there a single player? Isn't there like a Harry Potter game in development that was like leaked or something? Were we talking about that?
We did, but I forgot all about it because I don't
like a big budget Harry
that
Potter.
was made by one of the Warner Bros. Teams.
Yeah, well, I think they own the
Harry
license.
Potter.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, one of their developers or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there was something I think it was supposed to take place in like the 20s or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Big budget Harry Potter game coming.
Oh, okay, all right. So Star Wars got canned, but Harry Potter's still going. Whoops.
Well, is WB their own publisher? They're a publisher, right?
Yeah.
So two different publishers anyway. And the other bit of news that actually just broke today while we're recording this is Nintendo released this 3-minute video apologizing about Metroid Prime 4. They scrapped it. They just ditched the whole fucking game because apparently it was not progressing in development to their satisfaction. Game Informer senior editor said that what he had heard was that they were using multiple studios around the world to work on the game, which is not a new thing. That's actually... I don't know how common that is for publishers to do, but it's not unheard of. Ubisoft does with Assassin's Creed, like literally thousands of people.
Yeah, that's why they got like fucking 2-hour-long credits.
Right, exactly. But it's probably something pretty new for Nintendo. I think a bunch of studios worked on like Smash, but that might be the only example you can find with Nintendo. And I don't know if we knew for certain who was working on Metroid Prime 4, but I think the rumor was it was Bandai Namco.
Yeah, but like a Bandai Namco Singapore or something weird like that.
Oh, okay. The studio that brought you Tales of Tempest for Nintendo DS.
I think it was a new studio that maybe had only done one game prior, maybe no games prior, but it was a new studio.
What made Nintendo farm this out to like the cheapest people to speak? I don't understand. It's Metroid Prime 4. People lost their shit when they saw a logo for it. Like, why would you give it to the lowest bidder?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Man, that's bonkers to me. So anyway, it wasn't shaping up. Surprise. And my understanding is, according to the rumors, Retro stepped in and said, "Hey, we got a demo for the direction we take it." And then I was like, "Beautiful. That's it. You
should have hired you the first time,
right? You only made the first 3 games and 2 of the most critically acclaimed platformers of all time. We just didn't think your name didn't come up. I don't know what to tell you." But you should do it.
I'm assuming they were busy with whatever game they've been making for the past fucking 4 years or however long it's been.
Star Fox Racing.
Yes, Star Fox Racing, which hopefully is
like there's such a talented studio, but what the fuck is that?
Is that really what they? Is that
that is the heavily rumored? Yeah.
Star Fox Racing?
Star Fox Racing.
Okay.
There's a guy on. I've watched some of his videos. This British. You might have heard of the British
I've
guy.
heard him.
So Dr. Cupcakes. His name's Liam. He's pretty in the know. He says that the game is real. He says that Star Fox Racing is real. So if he says it's real, I believe Liam.
Oh, okay.
But it's Dr_Cupcakes, I think is his name on Twitter. You should follow him. He's pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. And not just like current existing stuff, but also like games that were in development and then canceled.
Okay, you've told me about those things before. Yeah,
I watched these videos on that, It's good stuff.
But like, what a fucking power move by Nintendo. What other companies putting out a 3-minute video to be like, yeah, no, we're scrapping this entire fucking game and we're starting it over by... Like, who does that? Nobody does that.
And it's incredible. I mean, because games get rebooted in development. That happens. Like, that's... We don't hear about it. Games get started development and then canned, and then we never hear about it. Like, it blew my mind that there was a first-person Mega Man X game in development at Capcom last gen, and they're like, you know what, nah. And then, like, years later, you see, like, video footage of it, but you never even heard about it. But, like, Nintendo... But, I mean, this one, obviously is a little bit different because Nintendo did announce it. But yeah, to like come out, I mean, they had to say something because it's been like a year and a half since they announced it, and development started even before that. I'm sure, even if it was just like concepts. And so you talk about a game that's been in development for a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and there's nothing. Nintendo had to say something, but like coming out there and like being transparent and humble, like I did not see a single person online today saying like this is such bullshit. Everyone said, "Oh, that sucks," but I'm glad they were honest about it.
Yeah,
and it's bonkers to me. Like that little bit of humility just goes such a long way because video game publishers and PR go to such great lengths to avoid doing something like this. But it really, I think it humanizes game development in a way that we're not used to from big publishers.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, things don't always work out. Here's what happened. Here's how we're fixing it. It's such a small thing, but you never see it.
Do you think that because they already had a plan in place to make the game go forward, that made people more willing to accept their apology. Like, if they just showed up and they're like, hey, what we've been working on for 2 years isn't what we wanted, so we scrapped the project, more information to come later, do you think that the reply would have been less?
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
That wouldn't have been a video. I don't think they would have come out with just that.
Right. But because they're like, well, Retro swooped in and they're going to save our asses.
Yeah. Yeah. But they probably waited until they had all that information. This probably happened a while back ago.
And they were still working on
right. I mean, there's probably still nothing to show because Retro's starting from scratch, but Retro's probably been working on it for quite some time now. And they probably waited till all those pieces were in place so they could deliver that big picture. Because I'm sure when this project was fucking falling apart in front of their eyes, they weren't going to get out on Twitter and be like, yo, Metroid Prime 4 is broken. What do we do?
I know you all were excited about that logo, but...
Or if they came out and just said the game's canceled altogether, people would have lost their shit. Even if they were trans... I mean, people still want the game, but like...
What would people even do, like, besides be upset about it? Like...
I think that's
Nintendo
it. That's
stuff?
it. That's the end of list. They're going to be mad online.
They would. I'm selling my Switch. The only reason I bought a Switch was for that fucking logo, and
Well, you're dumb because there's some cool shit on the Switch. Person
like Gal Metal.
This game sounded terrible, but that foil cover, Jesus Christ, I want that.
And stickers, Seth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look at them. I'm not going to stick them on anything.
Oh, I can't wait to find something to stick them on.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm not a collector.
Yeah, obviously. So the only reason I haven't bought Pokemon Snap is because I can't find any boxes that have the stickers in them still.
Oh, I got those minty stickers.
God, I hate you, Craig.
Rub it in, Craig.
I'm going to go to your house and put them all over some notebooks.
Asshole. So bringing this back to Metroid, what's also interesting is that the Game Informer senior editor here, I'm going to bring up his name. I think it's like Imran. I can't.
Yep.
I don't. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, like Imran Khan. I don't want to mispronounce that name. But he also seems to confirm another long-standing rumor is that Nintendo has optimized the Metroid Prime trilogy for Switch. But they're just sitting on it. He says it's finished.
Just done.
Yeah, he says it's finished. He says it was supposed to be announced like last month, but for some reason they're still sitting on it. And this, I'm sure this happens a lot in the video game world too, where they're just waiting for like the optimal time. Because you could just dump something like that out, but I'm sure they want to build up hype. They really want to get the most sales out of it, so it's not just something you're gonna dump. But
Nintendo especially, because they end up like carrying their entire systems for like 90% on their own, so they need to like get all those release schedules properly situated,
right? And they're probably waiting for like a direct to announce it because it's gonna sell okay, I think. And they probably want a lull, so like they're just coming off the Pokemon and Smash Brothers wave. They got Yoshi coming out, but we don't really know anything else that they're doing. So that could be like if it is done and it does indeed exist, it's probably like a spring-summer game.
Yeah, I don't think we know anything like past March or February or something.
I mean, we know like vaguely Animal Crossing, if that's actually even coming out. We regret to inform you, Animal Crossing's been rebooted.
No, the Animal Crossing has to come out.
It has to come out this year. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for that. It's probably my most anticipated like major publisher game, I think, this year that I know of at this point. But that's it for news.
Yay, news!
I have some news.
Oh yeah.
I was like, why hasn't my Resident Evil 2 come in the mail yet? And I'm like looking through my orders, and I fucking forgot to order the game.
Oh, no. Well.
Right?
So did you order it?
Oh, I will. I don't want to do like a bunch of loud typing while we're podcasting.
Okay.
But
it's very considerate of you.
Yeah. I was 100% sure I had this pre-ordered, and I'm just looking through all my like emails and my Best Buy orders and nothing. Got nothing.
Is this a full price game?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Why wouldn't it be?
Of course. I don't know. I really haven't been following. I actually kind of like. I feel a little blindsided that it's coming out.
It's today's
it
the
came
release
out.
date.
Yeah. Because I know people have been talking about it. there's been some chatter, but like it's out.
It's out.
Is this like a remaster of Resident Evil 2?
I think it's like a complete remake.
Yeah, complete remake from the ground up.
Huh.
There's another game that I think it's coming out like next month. So just like in a couple of weeks. That like I don't think we've heard a lot of. I wish it doesn't really matter because I can't remember the name of the game, but it's just like you don't get. It's weird to think that like games come out. Oh, Anthem. That's it. It's Anthem.
Oh, Anthem.
And they got a demo. I think there's like a VI. If you pre-order the game, you have access to like a beta. They call it a beta. It's not really a beta. It's a demo because the game's done. It's not really a beta. And I think in a few days, the general populace will be able to give it a shot. I might do that then. But like it's wild. Where like we've seen Anthem, but like I don't really feel like I know a lot of how that game operates, and that's a major publisher. That's a BioWare game. That's coming out. I don't know shit. That's coming out in a couple of weeks.
You just fly around. It's like multiplayer Iron Man.
Right, it's multiplayer Iron Man. That's basically it. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It's often compared to Destiny.
Okay.
God, when they revealed it, they did that whole thing where like fucking they do the fake gamer chat to each other, and I can't stand
that trailer was so bad. Oh my god.
Like, hey, what are you guys? I'm just hopping on right now. Just finished feeding the dogs.
That's what I sound like when I talk to other people.
You don't talk to anyone on the games.
I put a microphone on once. And then you asked me about how the incense smelled.
Apropos of nothing, yes. I asked you how the incense smelled when you had headphones on. Yes. It was good incense for the record.
Yeah, Seth.
Nice.
Are you going to sign on once you've walked your dog?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me just finish heating up this pizza. We're going to rock and roll.
I'm getting my hungry man set up.
You take that. and the way they talk is like this very, like, it's meant to sound like casual and relaxed. But it's not. But it sounds like this weird, stiff, scripted, like, you get that one over there. Yeah, all right. I'll get that
it's
one.
Like, it's like aliens, like, stuck you in a simulation with, like, what humans talk like.
Yes. It's really bad. All right, so I think with Seth he forgot the period. He's Alzheimer's setting in.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jesus.
I think that's it for news.
All right.
Do some mailbag?
Yeah, let's do mailbag.
We have mailbag?
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me wanna
well.
Tail first. You're just skipping right ahead,
You gotta wag your tail before you wail, though.
No, but I wail constantly.
Okay.
Jacob says, just want to say that as someone who has listened since TV Unless episode 1, Megan is a great addition to the podcast.
Thanks.
I want to point out that roughly now with this one, roughly 8 people have said that they love Megan on the podcast, which is awesome. I'm very proud of you, my lovely wife. I want to compare that to the fact that we have only 17 reviews.
I was about to say,
iTunes.
Megan now has more reviews than our podcast.
She has almost
Review me on iTunes podcast.
Now that she's asked for it, maybe we'll actually get some of these reviews.
Please.
Tell me your favorite color.
Speaking of remakes, Matt says, what are your favorite remakes? Pokemon Let's Go is up there for me.
That's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm. I love that Shadow of the Colossus remake. I love Resident Evil remake. And now I'll think of more while you two say some.
I'm going to have to go with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask 3D off the top of my head. I think those are really good. A lot of like Majora's Mask fans don't like the 3DS one because it has changes to it, and they feel that the changes make the game easier, and they do. But I think that's me personally. I feel like it's overblown, like because Majora's Mask is a difficult game if you don't know what you're doing. It takes a lot of experimentation, I think, and Majora's Mask 3D nudges you in certain directions if you like it's like the Bombers kids, like the little kids in the town, like they'll give you hints if you speak to them, but you don't have to. That didn't exist in the original game, so like things like that exist in the game. There are other changes that aren't as good, like the way swimming's handled as Zora Link is not nearly as fun or as good as it was in I don't know why they made that change. That was a bad change, and I agree with people who say that's a bad change. But some of the other changes to me is just like nitpicky. Like they changed the thing I like that came out 20 years ago. Okay, fine, whatever, I don't care. But I think overall that those two games are very strong re-releases.
I wrote a game FAQ to complete the Bomber's Notebook when I was like 14 or 15. It's really good. Everybody go look it up. Go to gamefaqs.com, look up Majora's Mask FAQs, and look for the Bomber's Notebook one by me.
Is it the only one?
No, I think there's two, so it's me and some other dude.
Oh, what kind of symbol does yours have next to it?
Mine's funny. It's posted by like S. Gastelum or something. So
doesn't Game FAQs have like circles and stars or something to indicate?
So I don't even think they had that system yet when I put mine up. So I don't even know if it has anything next to it.
I'm gonna find this. All right.
Find that. I don't know if any of the games I've played are remakes. So
what about what about that Barbie remake for GameCube that they did of the Super Nintendo one?
Well, I've played the Super Nintendo one.
I'm lying anyway. There's
okay. See, and I would never know. Unfortunately, I don't. I mean, I played Donkey Kong 64 on the Wii U, but that wasn't really a remake.
No.
It was fun, though.
No.
Except for the saving was weird.
No.
What do you mean, no? Donkey Kong 64 is the best.
There's no symbol next to it.
No symbol? Aw.
No, there's no symbol.
Updated 2/22/15.
This is my Flexi Bunny.
God, Flexi Bunny.
I can't.
Get off Seth's nuts.
I found it pretty easily. It's under the in-depth FAQ parts, right underneath general FAQs.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that far.
Okay.
Oh my god.
He's still Googling.
It was last updated 11/10/2000.
Dang.
Yeah.
So long ago.
Anyways, it's very funny. I was like reading it years ago for the first time. I was like, oh man, this is funny. I don't even remember writing this as as jokes in it, but no. It's good.
I can't wait to read it.
It's good. It's good midnight reading. Everybody should read this. Next question in the mailbag is... I lost the tab with the mailbag. Ilya says, what would you like to see in the upcoming Animal Crossing game for the Switch? I would like the option to get intimate with my fellow villagers.
That would be fun.
You're human and they're animals.
That doesn't matter to me.
Jesus Christ.
Listen, they're anthropomorphic animals.
They can
of
talk.
Age. They own their own houses. It's
you know
fine.
You want to hang out with Isabelle.
Oh my god.
She's probably like a dom. Like you go to her house and in her basement it's just like gimp suits and you're like, what did I sign up for?
Oh my god.
I want them to turn Animal Crossing into a dating sim.
Please.
Is what I want from the game. I want to come home and have Isabelle run up and lick my face.
and then tie you down somewhere.
And then tie me down somewhere. She's freaky, I can tell.
Yes.
I'm Mr. Mayor now, bitch.
Yeah,
Basically.
Somebody who's that uptight in the mayoral office all day, she's got to let loose somehow.
Well, personally...
All right.
Personally, I would like... I would just basically want New Leaf, but like bigger and better, I guess. Like, New Leaf was such a breath of fresh air for that series where... It's weird because it's like it's not drastically different from the other games. It's just that what it does do differently, it really breathed new life into that series, I think. I would like more things to like construct in your town and better ways to like manage that, because like for me, so like my town name is Minato. Minato is the ward, the city that I stay in when I'm in Tokyo. So, like, you know, I have a fondness for it. So whenever I have an opportunity to name an area in a game, I name it Minato. So I name my town Minato, and it turns out one of the structures you can build in the game is actually Tokyo Tower. I think they just call it the Tower or something, but it's Tokyo Tower. I've played that game for over 200 hours, and I still don't have a Tokyo Tower in my town. And that's because the only way you can build any of these things is if one of the residents suggests it. And none of these little shits have suggested that I build a tower after 200 some odd hours. And that's frustrating.
Yeah, it's random what they suggest, right?
It is. So if a resident moves and someone else comes in, they just park their fucking house wherever they fuck. I'm the fucking mayor, bitch. Do you have a permit for this? You fucking rooster? That's my orange tree. What the fuck are you doing? Like, that has to go through me. It has to go through zoning. Christ. I hate
so
that.
you want some like SimCity elements in the game.
I wish you didn't frame it that way because I don't want that level of like minute control because that's not what Animal Crossing is about. But a little more say in how things, because to me, like Animal Crossing is almost like this little garden that you can attend to periodically if you'd like, and it being on a handheld is the best way to do that, in my opinion. Which is why I think New Leaf is so successful. But like once the garden like kind of does things on its own and you don't really have a say, like that gets frustrating when you can like plant trees or put this bench over here, or I think you even have a sort of say where your house is. But then there are certain like big things that you don't really have much control over. That's frustrating.
I don't know. I sort of like that aspect. Like any villager who moves in and he like plants his house right in the middle of like a flower field or an orchard or something you just automatically hate that villager, right? And then that just gives you incentive to just like fucking troll him all day, dig holes in front of him, push him in, and just hit him with your axe and just be an asshole to him.
But then they'll move and then some other house will show up. And this cycle will start again. Meanwhile, it's terrorizing. This cycle of moving in and moving out is terrorizing your town.
That's fine.
It's a small price to pay to slap Piedra with an axe.
Yes, they deserve it. That's my fucking orchard. You know how long I spent setting up all the fruit in perfect order? Fuckers. But yeah, so I think we could all agree we just want to fuck Isabel.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing I have to say because I haven't played enough New Leaf to or any enough Animal Crossing of any kind. But yeah, no, I think that if I could get down with Isabel, that'd be great.
Yep. All right, and Craig agrees strongest of all.
Yes.
She's hot.
Yeah. Charlie says, "You watching Food Wars yet, Epo Bud?" Oh, that's directed towards me because I told her she heard us talking about the sexy food game that you're talking about,
yep.
Megan. And she recommended the anime Food Wars, which I think is like cooking anime, and like people will react like they're like the food is pleasuring them because it's so delicious. Not just with their taste buds; it's the senses are giving them like the senses of this food in their mouth is giving them erotic pleasure. But I told her I would watch it. Because
what?
Food and erotic pleasure.
What?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's a good combination. Not yet because I haven't started watching it yet because I was watching High Score Girl. But as soon as I finish High Score Girl, I'll move on to Food Wars.
And Yuri on Ice.
And nah.
Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, I don't like anime. It was good.
All right. God, anime is so hard for me. Like, I just go through, like, these phases where I'm just like, no anime, and then all of a sudden I'll watch anime for, like, fucking 2 months straight.
I can't stand most of it because it's so tropey.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything is. Even, like, the serious stuff is tropey. And Yuri has those tropes, too. But I liked it in spite of that.
Mm-hmm.
Watch High Score Girl. Super good.
We will. I put it on the list.
All the anime tropes are cringy, too. Like, that's my problem. Just... every time I'm watching an anime. Like, someone's going to transform into, like, the chibi version of themselves and, like, yell really loudly and, like, sweat marks are going to come off their head or something. And, like, oh, God, okay, fine. Christ.
This is why we haven't watched Sailor Moon Crystal.
Anime, Craig. You're
describing anime.
I did just describe anime, yes.
I would say the tropiness on High Score Girl is medium-low.
Excellent.
We can give that a shot, then.
That's it for mailbag.
Thanks, everyone.
I think that's it for the whole entire podcast, then. So goes the mailbag, so goes the podcast.
Forever. Episode
nice
30 was
it's a
the last
round
episode.
number.
And Chris was never heard from again.
Bye, Chris.
Who?
Who the fuck is that?
I don't even know who you're talking about. Maybe you mean Matt? Remember Matt?
Matt Calamia.
So are we talking about him?
Yeah, we're talking about Matt.
Okay.
Well, I want to thank everyone for listening. You can find us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Ludowave Radio, where you can subscribe, you can stream, you can download. It's very convenient. You can also find us, of course, on your favorite podcast app, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. Please review us. Just pretend you're reviewing Megan. Like, it'll be
Yes,
fine.
just talk about her. It doesn't matter. Like every time you want to type in the word Megan, type in the podcast instead.
There you go.
Just do Control F replace. It's
and
fine.
tell us your favorite color.
What?
It's for fun.
Okay.
All right. So you can also find Ludowave Radio on Twitter and Facebook at Ludowave Radio on both. Our theme song is composed exclusively for us by Morning, Moon, and Mercury. You can find more of his stuff at morningmoonandmercury.bandcamp.com. You can find me, Craig. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at TV and Lust on both. Seth, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Seth Gastellum. And where's Megan?
I'm on Instagram at Desperately Seeking Salsa and Twitter at Moosey Moose.
And we're out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.